Hi guys, welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. It is the live post-match reaction show from Aston Villa 0, Tottenham Hotspur 4. Men against boys in, and I quote, having read a John McGinn article this week, one of the biggest games in Aston Villa's recent history. And Tottenham Hotspur have gone up there and pissed all over them. I'm here with Amir from Tottenham on Tour. We watched it together in the live watch-along on We Are Tottenham TV. I mean, what is there to say other than just an unbelievably impressive performance from Spurs?
The word that comes to mind is mature.
Yeah.
That was a mature display by Tottenham. All the things that I've been wanting to see in games previous, I've seen in this one, and it just gives me that extra bit of confidence going forward. The fact that we got the clean sheet, we kept our heads, we didn't let the whole Cash injury, Bentancur situation get on top of us. We even went in 0-0 at half-time, really needing to step on the gas and start getting the goals, but we didn't panic, we didn't get flustered. We kept playing our game, and eventually we got the breakthrough through Maddison, and from then on it was all Spurs.
I think Villa fans will try and point to John McGinn getting sent off as an important part of this game, but we were already 2-0 up at that stage anyway, as I remember it. And also, for me, I was talking all through the first half about how I was so impressed with the way Tottenham Hotspur had come to the game and just put their front foot all over it. Really kind of, it was only in the second half that they really, in the second half of the second half, they really put their foot on the throat of Aston Villa, but they bossed the game. They had all the possession, front foot, and Villa actually, and you mentioned this in the first half, Unai Emery chose to change the way they play to try and counteract Ange ball, and that just played into our hands, I thought, because they were stuck between kind of two. You know, they were stuck between, do we play the high line or are we playing kind of deep five at the back? And actually it just gave us so much space in midfield. And I've got my magic stars against 5 players here, but I think to a man, we all played 7 out of 10 or more. And Sky in the end gave man of the match to Heung-min Son because he scored 1 goal and 2 assists. But I would like to say Mickey van der Ven, before he went off with a worrying hamstring injury, just looked like arguably one of the best defenders in the Premier League. He's just such a good player. But also Pat Matasar, who went off on 70 minutes. You were waxing lyrical about him today.
Yeah, indeed. I thought he was so vital in that midfield. You know, you see the difference when he's in there. He's just all over the pitch. He's just phenomenal, and the ball in for Maddison, you know, that shows that he's an elite player.
Yeah.
You know, he put it on a dime for him. Maddison just had to get his foot on it, and it was 1-0. So really phenomenal play by Sarr. I think the only reason he's gone off is because he's had this little niggling
He's got a back injury, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's the reason he's come off. This is probably the hardest match to pick a match of the man. A man of the match. And I'm not sure who I'd give it to. Could go to
any number of them.
Any number of them.
Yeah, I want to give a little shout out to Brennan Johnson. So Brennan Johnson started on the left today. He's had a few games where he's been the super sub, getting assists and goal from the substitutes bench. And today he started on the left. And in my kind of pre-match chat, I talked about how I've not really been impressed with Johnson on the left. But from the first minute today, I think maybe the confidence from that rest he's had and the few games he's had coming off the bench really showed, because he was driving at Matty Cash hard all game, really working him hard. And he got his goal. He scored the second goal today. A lovely finish. Got some height on it to get it past Emi Martinez, who's a big old bloke. And I just wanted to say I was incredibly impressed with him. And I've been saying all season, he's a raw, rough diamond. But he is showing me enough to think that he can be a real player for Tottenham Hotspur in the long term.
100%. Phenomenal performance. And honestly, you know, when you're looking at overall this game, and you're thinking about where we are as a team, to go to a place like Villa Park, to get a clean sheet, and to come home with all 3 points in a 6-pointer where you're battling for Champions League, I think really does show the growth in where we're at. Not just in the Ange ball process, but also in the development of the players. You're really asking the players to step up. Basuma, key role in there, you know, sweeping things up behind that defence, breaking up the play. He did fantastically. Moving the ball on, getting us on the attack as well. Done absolutely phenomenally. And all the players that came off the bench as well, to a man, did really, really well. Timo didn't let it get it down that he wasn't in the first 11. He came on, got his goal. Fantastic. Dragusin, although, you know, we wouldn't have liked to see him. Ideally, we would have wanted Mickey van der Ven on. But when he was called up on, he had about half an hour on the pitch.
Yeah, he did well.
Didn't put a foot wrong in my eye. So
that'll be massive for him as well.
It's huge. It's huge. Getting the whole. Unfortunately, football is not an 11-player game anymore. It's a 25-man squad game. And if you want to win things, you look at the best teams. They all have togetherness within the squad, and I think that's what Ange has really worked at this season. He's got it going. He's got it purring. You can see the players all fighting for each other. When the challenge came in on Udogie and McGinn got sent off, what I liked more than all of it, more than the charge up the pitch, more than the John McGinn getting sent off, it was the fact that Johnson, they went to back.
Yeah, Johnson went right
in.
They
were all fighting for each other, and that's what I want to see. I can remember Spurs of old and someone getting, cleaned out and them just walking on.
Yeah.
So this shows me is a huge improvement in that morale.
Yeah.
Within the squad, players are hungry. Players are coming off the bench instead of moaning. They're happy to get their minutes and they're doing the business. Werner getting his goal. Overall, just a phenomenal Sunday, and I think. Yeah. Having the early kickoff, they were probably raring to go all weekend. They were ready for this one.
Yeah.
And I'm just really impressed. Hat goes off to all the players today, man for man. And a big, huge congratulations to Ange Postecoglou, who out-tacticked the masterclass tactician in Emery.
Yeah.
So big up to Ange as well.
Yeah, completely agree. I just want to say, so the goal scorers were Maddison with the first from that brilliant cross from Sarr, and then Johnson with the great finish, and then Sonny and Timo Werner with an unbelievable finish at the end. Their first time showing that his confidence is up as well, which would be huge for us. I want to mention something that I haven't been able to say because our form hasn't been that good, and we've been struggling against these 11-man behind the ball, low block teams. But people look at Spurs' fixture list in April and are like, oh, that's going to be difficult. I look at that fixture list in April and say, we are going to have a huge say in this title race. If you look at any of those teams that we're playing in April, Newcastle, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, right? Do you think they're going to want to play Spurs like this?
No.
The teams that come at us, the teams that open up, the teams that press high, I tell you, we are going to have a huge say in it, and I back us to win a couple of those games at least. We are going to have a huge say in that title race. And I mentioned it earlier, once again, it's such a shame that we lost those players to suspension and injury against Chelsea. Because when we've got that kind of first 11 together, they are so hard to play against.
Scary.
And they've got the experience as well as the kind of skill and style and swagger to find their way through moments in those games. And I think, look, I'm not saying the next game, I think it's Fulham away, is it
Fulham,
next?
Yeah.
That's not going to be an easy game. But we are looking unbelievable when we've got all of our players in.
We are. And for me, the key there is is what I call the back five.
Yeah.
With Basuma sat there behind them, when you have those players there and they know how to play with each other, they know each other's game, they know what they want from each other, it gives that stability to the team. And I think it shows because we've got the clean sheet. I can't even remember the last clean sheet. Maybe it was Burnley in the cup or something. But, that defence plus Basuma with Big Vic at the back should really be challenging now to push on, get more clean sheets and not give away as many big chances. Today, what really impressed me as well with the defence was the blocking of shots.
Yes.
They did really, really well just managing to recover and not letting the shot get into Vic, which I think is phenomenal. You stop those shots coming in. They were all working for each other. And I think, again, Christian Romero, unbelievable.
You mentioned the togetherness, and actually that's a good example. There were times where they were blocking shots and getting balls out for corners and stuff, and they were all giving it the big cheers and stuff, which didn't feel performative to me. It felt like actually they're working on this stuff every day, and it's huge. They know as a defensive back line that they're going to give up chances because of the way that we play. So it's about body on the line. What can you do? And then cheer each other and make the most of it.
And talking about body on the line, Dragusin really put his body on the line with that rocket of a shot that hit him in the...
He got one in the groin.
Oof. And he got up from it and then, defended the corner. So, yeah, hats off to those guys. Coming back from a clean sheet from Villa is huge.
Yeah.
And what we were sat here asking at the beginning of the game, if you go back, we were looking for us to be clinical. And I don't think we were clinical. I think we were surgical today.
Surgical.
I think we were surgical. You look at the finish. Johnson, phenomenal, right? he could have easily blazed that over.
Yeah,
We've seen him miss
yeah.
easier chances, buried it. Werner, very difficult chance. First time, bang, back of the net. Sonny, I mean, it just makes it look easy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And again, James Maddison, although he only had to get his boot on it, he was in the right place at the right time, got the finish, and we were lethal today.
We've talked about how Pat Matasar came in for Rodrigo Bentancur, and it was definitely the right decision. His legs gave us everything, and also his cross for the goal was unbelievable. He's just a highly, I think, underrated player, but still, what, 20, 21?
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah,
scary potential.
Scary how good he is.
And, he can become Vieira-esque once he fills out. He can do anything he wants, I think. But I think also the other change was absolutely vital, and a man who was kind of low-key, massively brilliant and important today, Pedro Porro. Yeah. Just, you talked about that back five. For me, what I saw for the first time in a long time today, going back to those early games, like I was at the Liverpool game early in the season, and what I loved about it was the way that Porro and Udogie and Bissouma and the two centre-halves pop these little balls between them, and then into Maddison, and Maddison comes and helps, and they're popping these little 5-10 yard balls almost like arrogantly. Yeah. It's almost arrogant, but it drags the other team apart. It moves their positions around, and it creates space.
Yeah.
And that's what Porro brought again, and we've missed him a little bit. Royal has done a good job, but keeping that five together, I agree with you, massively important.
It's so important. And when you have that stability, you also you envision where the player's going to be. So, if Kulu's making a run, Porro already knows they can knock it up.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Udogie. When Johnson's there on the wing and Udogie's behind him, he knows what Udogie's going to do, cut in and try and charge up the pitch. So he knows to go already. And I think you're seeing things click now a lot more. In the games that we were frustrated, your Wolves, your Brightons, where we were frustrated, I don't think we had the players there that were all versed enough in Ange ball that can do it. But when you have these guys, it just looks a lot more fluid, a lot better. And
do you think you can see then why... Sorry to interrupt, but you can see then why in an interview just the other day, I think it was like the kind of embargoed part of his press conference, Ange was asked, would you spend £100 million on a player? And he said, actually, I would rather spend £50 million on two players. And then he went on to say, listen, this project is not going to get... my squad is not going to get sorted fully in just 3 transfer windows. It's going to take more time. And actually, when you see a performance like that today, I can totally understand it more, because you're like, actually, we need players who can slot in each time, who are able to do what Porro does, what Udogie does, and what the other players do, right? So it's going to take time. There's still going to be difficult ups and downs and pages. But today, I think, was a perfect example of what, at our best, what we are going to be capable of for the next 2, 3, 4 years in these huge games. Don't forget, this was a huge game for Tottenham Hotspur today. Massive game. We could have gone 8 points behind Villa, and everyone would be laughing at us. But we've gone there and we've made a huge statement.
It's that's the word, Barnaby. It's a statement victory. It's not a 1-0 or 2-1. I predicted a helter-skelter 3-2. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong. So that shows huge maturity all over the pitch, and it's a statement win and a huge building block.
Yeah.
We can really go in and really try and cement our place as fourth. Got Fulham coming up, Luton. Very tough games. They'll come at us. They'll give it to us, and we know Luton battle until the end. They got a draw yesterday. So I think this will really give the players confidence.
I think Fulham will come at us, though. I think
because
I think the way Marco Silva plays, I don't think he'll try and shut it up shop. I'd be very surprised anyway, and I think it could suit us. But let's see what happens. I've actually predicted 2-2 in the last 2 games, so whatever happens, I'm predicting 2-2 for that Fulham game as well, because we win whenever I predict 2-2.
So yeah, keep going.
Before we go, Amir, I'm going to ask you to make the difficult decision. Who was your man of the match today?
It's so hard. I knew this question was coming.
Here, have a little look at my book and my little stars. I'll while you're thinking about it, I'm gonna say it just because of the abuse that he's suffered today. And this might be a bit controversial, but look, it's only my opinion. I'm gonna give it to Brennan Johnson. I think he was put in a position where he's not always looked that comfortable. He doesn't usually, I wouldn't say it's his favoured position, but he showed the confidence that he hasn't had, and therefore I'm gonna say to him, well done, you're my man of the match.
I hear that and I love it. I love it that you're giving it to Johnson. I'm with you on it. I just think that SARS, ball playing within that midfield, it was so crucial to win that midfield battle. And then for his assist, that ball to Madders was just unbelievable. I'm just putting Sarr there, even though he was only on the pitch for 70 minutes. I think he was phenomenal, and I think sometimes fans, maybe not just fans, but people in general in football, you can kind of, go for the big, the goal scorers, the assisters, but sometimes it's the work that you're doing off the ball that is so undervalued, and I think Sarr was absolutely phenomenal today.
Completely agree.
Just gets it for me.
Yeah, good decision. Completely agree. Let us know in the comments section who you thought was man of the match, what your thoughts were on the game. Don't forget, do press subscribe to We Are Tottenham TV if you're not subscribed already. Give this video a like. Also, go over to Tottenham on Tour to find Amir and his content on Spurs. I'm at the Spurred On podcast, but you can find the link in the description box there, on the title, sorry. But most importantly, after a 4-0 win at Villa Park, what a performance. Come on, you Spurs.